want to say a great day to everybody who's joining in, or those who will definitely view this video. You are in tune on August 20th, 2024, with yours truly, Dr. Rory T. Edwards, on this version of House Calls. We definitely have an intriguing and interesting subject today that we are going to be discussing, and really hope that you found value in this, and hope that you can definitely forward it to someone who may need to hear this message today. We want to first let you know that if you do have any questions, comments, or concerns, please do so by submitting them to my email, which is rorytedwards1 at gmail.com. That again is rorytedwards1 at gmail.com. Or you may respond to us on our website, which is www.rorytedwards.com. I hope everybody's having a marvelous and immaculate Tuesday as you wake up and as you move through your agenda. And that's the topic of our discussion today. It's you can't withdraw what you did not deposit. Now, where did that title come from? That's actually the motto of the Rory T. Edwards Group. And that's our whole purpose. What we do is provide people services that will give them the opportunity to deposit into their life account the amount of resources that they need to be successful, not only in their personal life, but in their professional venture also. And that takes place in all aspects of life. And that's what we work very diligently on, to make sure that people do have the resources that gives them the opportunity to be proud, stand proud, talk proud, present proud about who they are and what they developed in building their empire. That's what we do. That's all we do. And if you're that type of person, please reach out to us, and let us help you develop that blueprint for your life. Now, I want to tell you about how that came about, that you can't withdraw what you did not deposit. I'm going to make it real short because I have two stories I want to share with you about this process before we go into what we're really going to talk about. And that came from, for some of you who don't know, but those who do know, I live in Nevada. And in Nevada, out of all the places that you would expect full-fledged gambling to happen, the lottery does not exist in Nevada. And so my daughter and I, some years ago, decided that when the lottery got to over $1 billion, we were going to go purchase a ticket. And went down to a place at the border of Nevada and California called Prim, Nevada, and went to purchase a ticket, and the line was maybe 3 miles wrapped around the building. And so realizing that if you continue driving towards the LA area, there's another spot called Baker, California, which is not really that far, maybe 35 minutes past the Prim exit. And we drove down there, got there, nobody was there, nobody. Bought tickets, came back, told a few people at Prim. They thought I was trying to get them out of line and jump in line, but I showed them I had tickets. I wasn't trying to jump in their space. I had tickets. I'm going home. You're going to be in line for the next few hours waiting on some tickets. But anyway, I come back. I drop my daughter off. I go to the bank where I'm very familiar with the teller and the manager and everybody. And I go in there and I say, listen, I want to make a withdrawal. I want to draw $100,000. So the lady says, okay, fill out the ticket. I fill out the withdrawal slip. I give it to her. She comes back. She says, Mr. Edwards, you don't have $100,000 in the bank. And I said, I don't? Wow, okay. So then by this time the manager comes over, because I'm trying to make this story quick. The manager comes over and he says, Mr. Edwards, we just want to make sure that you are not serious about what these allocations can lead to. And I said, no, not, oh, I said, my mistake. Let me tell you what I'm really thinking about. I said, the lottery is up over $1 billion, and what I'm going to do is I don't play. I don't really gamble. So what I did is I went and bought a ticket, and I'm going to win. So what I'm trying to do right now is to get some money in advance, and I'm going to put on a party tonight for all of my close friends, clients, associates, colleagues, and we're going to celebrate the win tomorrow. And so he laughed about it. He says, well, I need to get there also. I said, absolutely. He says, but I have a better solution for you. I said, what would that be? He says, why don't you come back tomorrow after you win, and we'll take that big check that you win and we'll definitely deposit it into our account. And at that time, you can come in and take out as much as you want to. And I definitely want to be invited to the party. I said, that sounds like a winner chicken dinner to me. And so what happens is we laughed about it. Uh, the moral of the story is that you're talking to me. I'm talking to you. So that means I did not win that lottery. But the moral was is that, again, I went into the bank to try to make a withdrawal on something I never deposited. Many times in our lives, we go to our life account and we are trying to withdraw something we did not deposit. We never deposited the energy. We never deposited the resilience. We never deposited the dedication. We never deposited the commitment. We never deposited the blood, sweat, and tears and human equity into our life account for us to withdraw the information or the resources that we want. And then we get upset about it. And so what we're going to be talking about is the three things that I think are very, very important in our withdrawing from our life account is our concepts of value exchange. We're going to talk about what that means. I want you to understand what value exchange means in your life account. Also, accountability for your life account. What does that mean in your life account when you are held accountable for it? And the true meaning of reciprocity. A lot of us talk about reciprocity. We use the word a lot. We heard some people on some of the things that I'm going to talk about today that I said I never would talk about, and that is on this campaign trail about reciprocity. What does reciprocity really mean in the form that it benefits you in depositing from and withdrawing from your life account? So we're going to explore those particular words and those particular meanings, and I want to make sure that you truly understand what that means because, like we said, life is much like your bank account, and it requires constant deposits. Whether you're doing it in your relationships, in your careers, in your personal growth, it all remains the same. What you deposit is the only thing that you can withdraw. And that comes in every form or fashion of life. You can't expect something to be different if you did not put the work in. And so let's start off and go there about what it really means for value exchange. But before we go there again, I want you to know that you're listening to House Calls with Dr. Rory T. Edwards, and we are live on 8/20/24. And once again, you can reach us at rorytedwards1@gmail.com. That's our email. Or you can send us something on our website, which is www.rorytedwards.com. And the correct spelling of that is RORYTEDWARDS. So Rory T. Edwards1 is my Gmail. rorytedwards.com is our website. So let's talk about what value exchange is. Value exchange is a great thing. We challenge the misconceptions of value. Often when people equate value, they solely connect it with monetary and material gains, when emphasis on that should be time, knowledge, emotional support, and opportunities. Now, when we talk about time, there's only three things that you can never get back. One is a rock that is thrown. The other are words that are spewed out of your mouth. And the third thing is time. We know time waits for nobody. So when you challenge the misconception of value, what we're asking you to do, if you're depositing to your life account, is understand what is valuable. Your time is very valuable. Your knowledge is very valuable. The people you put in your life to emotionally support you is truly valuable because that's what drives your behaviors, your decisions, your outcomes. The people who support you emotionally, the people who believe and provide you opportunities for you to be the most valuable person in your journey. Now let's talk about promoting mutual benefits. That's counters around ideas that value exchange is the zero-sum game. Stress that both parties can gain, stress that both parties can gain, leading to a more sustainable and enriched relationship. It's what I said. When you check your circle of influence, see if the people who are your circle of influence are also have the same passion, the same desires, the same work commitment that you have. You can't tell somebody we're going to work for 4 hours and then after 2 hours they're sitting down, because then they are delaying the process that you're trying to reach within that time frame that is very valuable, which we talk about is your misconception of value. Now, when we talk about address unequal exchanges, discuss how imbalanced exchanges can lead to resentment or exploitation. Encourage the recognition and readdress how these imbalances to foster healthy interactions. Just like I spoke about addressing unequal exchanges. If somebody that you're dealing with is not providing you the same emotional energy, the emotional stability, the cognitive thought process of how we're going to move this agenda forward, then you are wasting the most valuable commodity in your life, and that's your time. And you also have to pay attention to saying that you're wasting their time. So that's how you definitely take care of addressing unequal exchanges in your withdrawing of what you did not deposit. What about accountability? Now, how we redefine accountability beyond punishment, because a lot of times people attach accountability to punishment. Consider the idea that the accountability is only about blame and punishment. Highlight it as a tool for growing, learning, and maintaining integrity in personal and professional relationships. How do we talk about our accountability being punishment? If I'm unable to provide something for you, why do I need to be punished? Why do I need to be held accountable for your faults? Why do I need to take on your lack of enthusiasm, your lack of commitment to what you want to do in life, and I feel like I have to be blamed for it? You got to refine accountability beyond punishment. You got to refine accountability as providing the opportunity for the person to do what they need to do. You do what you need to do. And in the process, you both will prosper. And if you have to walk alone, that's how you were born, alone, unless you're a twin. But if you were born alone, you know how the process of navigating into any situation alone. So please don't allow accountability to move into the punishment line that you're responsible for the person who is trying to accomplish something they said in their life without putting in the work. Because like we said, you can't withdraw what you did not deposit. Now let's move on to the next one. Encourage self-accountability. Stress the importance of holding oneself accountable before others. These build trust and sets precedent for others to follow. Like I just said, if you're not building your foundation, then you're only going to build based on who you support. In most cases, when I do my workshops, I ask people, what is their foundation built on? I use a lot of fables, things that we were exposed to when we were young, and I usually use the Three Little Pigs story. I ask people, what are you building your foundation on? Are you building on sand, stone, or stick? What are you building it on? If you are not committed to the outcome of your destination, then you may be building your home or your foundation or your life account on sand, with sand. And if you're mediocre about it, you're building it with sticks because you think that, well, what I'm going to do is not really going to be affected by the elements because the sticks are tied together very strongly. But then life happens and nature happens and things happen, and all of a sudden the sticks become very vulnerable to the environment. They become very vulnerable to the situations. They become very vulnerable to the toxic people in your life. They become very vulnerable to the toxic words in your life and the toxic relationships in your life. And the sticks begin to burn. And then you have the opportunity to build your foundation on stone. And stone is the way that can prevent a lot of things from occurring in your life because your foundation is solid. If your foundation is solid, you can definitely go to your life account and make some withdrawals because you have committed. You have committed to positive and productive growth. Now, balance with compassion. Address the use of empathy when holding others accountable, ensuring that the process is constructive rather than destructive. Everybody's not going to be where you are. And you get in people's lives for certain things, but you can't take on other people's problems. You can't take them on. You have to be able to be strong in your own process before you take on anyone else's process. You can't you can't what's the name? You can't make a situation better for someone else if they're unwilling to to do the work themselves. And so you have to make it um, about empathy, and you also have to make it constructive. You have to let them know that I'm going to be here for you, but I'm not going to stop because you choose to stop in your own progress and process of moving on and how you working through your life account. Now, the true meaning of reciprocity. We've heard that word a lot. Like I said, we hear it a lot, and I'm going to talk about something again I said I really don't want to talk about, but I'm going to talk about it. But the true meaning of reciprocity, counter transactional reciprocity. What is that? It challenges the notion that reciprocity is merely a quid pro quo arrangement, emphasize the importance of giving without the immediate expectation of receiving, fostering a culture of genuine care and collaboration. Most people give something, and then what they do, they talk about it for the next 5 years. Oh, person came to me, needed $10, I gave him $10, I ain't seen him since. Well, when you gave it to them, you know the situation they were in. They didn't come to you because they needed the $10. How about what we do? We as humans are so quick to judge other situations, but the things that we are involved in, the things that we are concerned about, we talk about. I'm going to give you a perfect example. So you get up and you say, wow, I need to go to the grocery store today. You're not going to the grocery store because you just want to go to the grocery store. You're going to the grocery store because you're low on food. When you get up and you get in your car and you see that your gas tank says a quarter of a tank, and you usually drive on a 3/4 full tank, what do you say? I'm going to the gas station. We talk about things we need. We talk about things that we desire. We talk about things that are important in our lives. But how many of us are getting up journaling in the morning about our day and our process of our day? How many are getting up doing that? How many people are journaling at night about what the day looked like and what they're gratified and what they have gratitude for during that day? But we talk about those things. I saw a post the other day that a sister was on Facebook, and she was, I don't know if the filters made her what she was, but on the external side, she was very beautiful. And she was asking that on Facebook that God provide her the right mate. And but she says she really didn't need one in the next breath. Well, why would you get on Facebook and say that and then in the next breath say you don't need somebody? Because we talk about what our needs are. We talk about what our desires are. We talk about what our concerns are. We talk about what we want others to comment on. And if we don't have the opportunity to combat those, then we turn it into very negative, and we turn it into sometimes into personal attacks. So that's what you got to do when you're countering transactional reciprocity. Let's move on to the next one. Promote long-term relationships. Encourage thinking beyond short-term exchanges. True reciprocity builds over time, leading to deeper, more meaningful connections that transcend immediate transactions. When we're talking about promote long-term relationships, we are in a short-term world right now. Everything we need is at the tip of our fingers. Everything we want to do, we can just Google it. We can pick up the computer and find that information, and we could make it a very short-term outcome. But what happens in short-term outcomes? Usually the outcomes are not in your favor. Usually you're responding to somebody else, and you're looking for an answer from someone else, and you take that answer, and you take that answer as truth. Sometimes that answer is not truth. Sometimes that answer needs to be evaluated, needs to be researched, needs to be digested. It also needs to be regurgitated and see how it tastes coming back up after you receive it. So make sure that you promote long-term relationships in what you take into your life account. And again, like I said, a life account is just not about financial stability. It's about all of the things that are necessary for you to become the most valuable person in your own life journey. Now let's talk about the last one, address imbalance and reciprocity. Discuss the importance of recognizing when reciprocity is one-sided and how it addresses in a way that strengthens the relationship rather than weakens it. How many of you have a craft out there? I know there's a lot of people who have talent. Sometimes that's why our life account is sometimes out of balance because we do all have a talent. If you're breathing today and you're listening to this broadcast, or if you're going to have an opportunity to listen to this broadcast, you were given the opportunity today when you woke up to make it an amazing day, to make the best out of your day, to make a deposit into your life account that gives you the opportunity to have another day. And if you don't take that serious, and you engage again in negative, toxic, unbalanced energy, it's going to zap all of your energy. It's going to zap everything that you're going to prevent. You're going to be taking more out of your life account to deposit in someone else's life account than you are actually putting in yours. So address imbalance reciprocity. Address imbalance connections, relationships, conversations, emotional stability, emotional stimulation. Address that and address it vigorously, address it immediately, and address it with empathy as you walk away from that. Now, let's talk about creating a balanced account because that's what this is all about. I want you to counter the focus on the material wealth. Challenge the idea that a balanced account is not solely financial. Introduce the concept of a life account, which includes emotional, relational, and intellectual deposits. That's how you move forward. You're not going to move forward by being stuck in a particular area that you were good at. If you were a great athlete at 17, 18, 19, and you're in your 50s and 60s, it's really counterproductive to be sitting around talking about how good you were then. What did you do with that opportunity to make you a better person now? If you're stuck in that conversation, then you're only valuing yourself in that era. You have to value yourself, but what did that do for you to build you into the person you are today? So don't just focus on material wealth and say, I make six figures, right? Because you may meet a homeless person who has nothing, but he's living a much more cleaner and productive life than you could ever imagine. So we want you to understand that. What's the next one? Encourage regular deposits. Every day you get up, don't say I'm going to go you don't say I'm going to go to the bank and make a deposit. If you have to put money in the bank, you get up and go. So every day you're given the opportunity to awake, you need to make a deposit. You need to make a positive deposit in your life account. You need to make some contribution, some spiritual contribution, some mental contribution, some development contribution. You need to make a development into your bank account, your life account every day, because like we're saying in this, you cannot withdraw what you did not deposit. So if you're not making daily deposits, there's no way you can go back at the end of the week and make a withdrawal. There's no possible way because you have a zero balance in there. And the third thing, which I think we all have experienced in our life, if you're an adult, you have experienced this in your life, address overdrafts, right? Discuss the risk of neglecting your account with consistently withdrawing without depositing. This can lead to burnout, strained relationships, and lack of fulfillment. How many times back in the day when you used to go to the store and you used to make a purchase and you were standing with your back to the person to make sure that card didn't make that sound, because we know that means your account was overdrawn. And we've all experienced that. I don't care who you are. You've experienced that. Even if you were born with a platinum spoon in your mouth, sometimes you made decisions based on the fact that your money would never run out, but it will. It will. And everything's going to run out. But we're not talking about money here. We're talking about your life and your purpose for being on this earth. Now, the one thing I said I wasn't going to talk about, but I'm going to give you just a little bit of it because I am concerned with the rhetoric that I have heard and how we can make a difference in what we do. I happened to be scrolling while at the gym yesterday through the TV and ended up on the Democratic National Convention event. And one of the things I want to say is I'm definitely not going to talk politics, but I want you to know that whatever party you serve, there's one thing that I want you to realize, that if you go back to every president that ever took office in this particular country, I want you to understand and I want you to look at whoever you choose to vote for. whoever you choose to vote for, I want you to realize that you have to look at what in their policies and plans that they do to advance your life account. To advance your life account. If you take the energy that you're putting in right now to support your candidate and put that same energy into making sure that your candidate keeps their word once they get in office, then you will have a better opportunity to advance your life account. When I hear people saying, well, I want this person in office because they're going to do this for me, they're going to do that for you, they're going to do that for all of us. Well, what are you doing for you? How about let's start there? If you're not engaged in the political process, if you're not engaged in writing letters to assure that the people you elected follow the protocol for which they opened their mouth and professed they would do, then you're only as good as that 1 hour, 2 hours you stood out in that line to vote. That's all you're good for. And you haven't made a deposit. You made more withdrawals standing outside waiting to make a commitment to an individual that you have no idea of what they're going to do. Only thing you're doing is based on what the words were used on how they were going to help you in the economy, in your job situations, in your housing, in your education, in things that are sort of protective of your rights as a human being. Let's use that word, okay? But that's what I just want to share about that. And the one thing that I want to send you off on is, I want to tell you about, everybody's probably heard the story, because I like to do stories, and sometimes I want to end with this story, the story about the boy and the butterfly. And this is what I want you to take away today. Most of you probably heard the story, but I'm going to do a condensed version because I don't want to give you the full story. But the story about the boy and the butterfly, this is what I want you to do when you're talking about withdrawing, when you're making a deposit into your account. Understand that it's going to take time for that account to mature, just like you're supposed to mature. And you need to make sure that you do the right things that can give you an opportunity to be that individual. And so let me tell you this. They were saying one day a boy was walking through the garden when he noticed a small cocoon hanging from the branch. Curious, he stopped to watch it. After some time, he saw the cocoon begin to move. A butterfly was struggling to emerge. The boy watched as the butterfly fought to push his way out of the small opening. The process was slow and seemed painful, and the boy's heart went out to the struggling creature. Waiting to help, the boy gently tore open the cocoon to free the butterfly. The butterfly emerged easily, but something was wrong. Its body was swollen and its wings were small and weak. The boy expected the butterfly to spread its wings and fly, but it could only crawl. Its wings never fully developed. The boy didn't realize that the butterfly needed to struggle on his own to strengthen its wings. In trying to help, the boy unintentionally prevented the butterfly from gaining the strength it needed to survive. That's what we have to do. We are not allowing individuals in our lives, we are not allowing ourselves to gain the strength that we need to survive. We are taking in so much other people's toxicity, and we are taking in so much other people's emotional stress, their ability to not be what they're supposed to be, and blaming it on everybody else, that we never emerge as the butterfly. So the moral of the story is that struggles are necessary for growth and development. For you to grow and for you to develop, I want you to understand that you need to struggle like the butterfly struggles in the cocoon to become the creature that it eventually becomes. And I want you to realize that you will not be able to withdraw anything out of your life account if you don't take the time, the effort, the commitment, the dedication, the reciprocity, the resilience, all of that to build the future and the purpose that you were put on this earth to be. So with that being said, I thank you all very much. And what I'm going to do next week, we're going to be talking about the things that make us who we are, our energy, our rhythm, and our vibration. And what does that look like? And how does that play into us getting up every day, making these deposits into our life account? And how does it give us an opportunity to make the deposits into our life account so that we are never overdrawn? in our life account. So with that being said, I want to thank all of you who joined. Once again, you can reach me at rorytedwards1@gmail.com, and you can also send us an email at www.rorytedwards.com. And in the next few weeks, we will definitely be promoting and launching our newest book that I really want you to think about and look at getting for any man that's involved in your life. A new book that I put out called The Man That's Missing in Me. We have it in ready for distribution very soon, and I want you to definitely be a part of this movement because it's much bigger than the book. It's much bigger than the book. And I want to send kudos out to my dear friend, Dr. Jaron Carlos, who did the foreword on this book. And so we were going to be doing some things with this book very soon. So until we talk again, I want you all to understand the message. Please understand you cannot withdraw what you did not deposit. So as you wake up every day, as you move through the day, make sure that you make positive and productive deposits into your life account. Until we talk again, be well, bless up, and Ashe. Dr. Rory Edwards is gone.